Namaskar and a big welcome to my talk show. I'm Dr. Suhani Mendonsa and my talk show is Tete Suvees Power. Yes, what is this? The yummy sweet pills. As a child, I used to love it, and I used to never have problems taking medicines because it was homeopathy, sweet pills, right? But it is also amazing how it has become a cure for so many ailments. My today's talk show, indeed, is with an extremely amazing, powerful homeopath. Yes, you guessed it right. Padma Shri Mukesh Batra ji. Welcome to my talk show.
Thank you
So great to have you. Well, all of us know that yes, Dr. Mukesh Batra runs the largest chain of homeopathy clinics. But there are so many things yet we need to tell you all about. He has always been before his time. I always felt that. I mean, this is amazing. World's first computerized homeopathy clinic way back in 1982. Then world's first online clinic consulting website in 1986. The e-commerce site cyber clinic launched by my favorite Sunil Gavaskar in 1998. It doesn't stop here. First time in the world using homeopathy for genetics. I mean, doctor, brilliant. The list is just going on. Instrumental in legalizing homeopathy in Mauritius, and this one takes the cake. The very first, at that time, the only homeopathy clinic in Harley Street, London, which is the Mecca for modern medicine. The man with the golden heart, the philanthropist, and yes, the author who's authored several books. And 2 years ago, he authored with Ashwin Sangvi 13 Steps to Bloody Good Health, which was a bestseller. And now this is a bestseller too. You all see The Nation's Homeopath, a book which is absolutely brilliant. You actually feel a part of the book, every page of it, with every word of it. So, Doctor, with your permission, maybe start our tete-a-tete.
Most certainly, Suhani. It's such a pleasure to be here. And let me just mention that yes, I've done a lot of things before my time, but I wasn't a premature baby. I was born ahead of my time. Okay, so you know, there was one thing that I couldn't be. From my mother's womb.
Right.
Coming out of my mother's womb, I couldn't do that earlier.
Right.
But yes, it was really interesting, and I'm so happy to be here.
Well, thank you so much, Doctor. It's truly an honor. So, without much ado, starting a conversation, I loved the title, Nation's Homeopath. But did you think of any other titles before it, Because I'm sure you must have gone through a whole list of them.
Yes, I did. I did. Honestly, I did.
Yeah.
And The Nation's Homeopath was actually suggested by my publishers, HarperCollins. While it's very egoistic to have a title like that, and I'm very proud that they've called me The Nation's Homeopath.
Absolutely.
But some other people say, why not The People's Homeopath? Which also could have been a nice title.
Lovely. Yeah.
But I think we, I also thought of, a lot of my friends suggested it, so we thought of doc entrepreneur,
right.
Also another topic, but we thought maybe more difficult for people to understand.
Right.
But I'm very happy with the way the book has turned out. I'm happy with the way it's been published,
Yes.
and the fact that it's at all the airports in India and
Yes.
In major bookshops, and of course on Amazon and on e-com sites.
Right.
I'm just happy that it's out in the open. I think it gives you a sense of satisfaction, and you just hope that when you spend so much of time writing a book, you just hope that lots of people take out time to read it.
Yes.
So there's a very interesting saying I came across, when I was rehearsing for my book, and researching for my book, and I realized that they said that the maximum number of books are sold in Delhi, in India, but the largest number of books are read in Kolkata. So, which means people buy books but they don't read them.
Yes.
So my aim really is that could I reach out to many more people so that they could be inspired by
Yes.
my life and by the mistakes that I've made. Maybe they don't repeat it again.
How brilliant. That was absolute wonderful sharing, Doctor. Doctor, this book, the biography which you've written yourself, was for a very, very special occasion, your 70th birthday. And when I was going through the book, I was very sad when it ended on the 65th chapter. I thought we would go on to the 70th chapter.
You're absolutely correct, and that's a very good observation. Because when I did write the book,
Right.
I actually had 71 chapters. So 70 plus 1 for good luck to keep going on. And the 71st chapter was actually a culmination of the 70 chapters.
Right.
However, we are all governed by marketing,
Yes,
and we
absolutely.
are governed by our publishers.
Right.
So the publishers decided that the book was too large and it would occupy a lot of shelf space,
Right.
and therefore it may not be commercially viable,
Right.
and it may also outprice the book in terms of pricing, because
Right.
so many pages would come out.
Right.
So they actually edited 7 or 8 chapters of my life.
Okay.
That's why I said not of my book but of my life. So certain parts of my life they've just cut out because
Okay.
they wanted actually when I went first with different companies, with different publishers. So one of them actually said that it's a lovely book,
Right.
but we like a business biography.
Okay.
So people are actually looking for a management book.
Right.
And for my 70th birthday, I wanted to share my life.
Right.
I wanted to share my life's experience together with my work experiences.
Sure.
I mean, I also wanted to show people, what are the learnings I had over the
Right,
years,
right.
and I wanted to share them with them.
Right.
But I didn't want it only to be a dull
Yeah.
management book. There are so
Yeah.
many of them in the market.
Yeah.
I thought it's time people learn from my life's lessons. It's time that I share honestly the way I've lived my life, the value systems I've adopted, the
Right.
challenges I faced,
Yes.
and how I overcame them.
Right.
So, which is why this is actually a mixture of kind of an autobiography
Yes.
and plus a business biography.
Absolutely.
And I'm happy to say that it kind of flows in very seamlessly from one to the other.
Yes, absolutely, Doctor. It does. I am telling you, this is. I don't read much. I always had this thing. I must tell you the secret. But my husband Vivek, he always reads, and then he tells me about it. But this is one book which I could not keep down.
This is an amazing, amazing marriage. I'm saying he reads and you listen. Oh my God, there's so much I've learned from you today. Really. So,
Well, I have to be extremely careful what I say when Doctor around. But yes, I do listen.
so
definitely.
congratulations, Vivek. Well done. Okay. Now we can go ahead with the conversation.
So, humor and honesty, it literally runs in your veins and in your arteries, Doctor. Especially for the book when you're reading it. It's as you said, it's not just those typical management books. It's a lot more fun. There's lots to learn, but in such a wonderful way. So, what do you have to say about it?
So it had to be experiential.
Yeah.
The idea was to share experiences.
Right.
The idea was that today we are in the SMS age group,
Right.
and we are in a system where people are on Instagramming, where more than 60 seconds you can't speak,
No.
otherwise you can't promote it. Then it goes to IGTV.
Yeah.
So it was very important that the chapters are crisp
Right.
and one can relate with them.
Right.
So which is why you'll find most of the chapters are not more than 3.5 pages.
Yes,
because
yes,
I believe
yes.
this is the attention span in today's world of
So
most people.
true, so
of
true,
most people.
so true,
But
yes.
yet they are crisp, they are witty, they are sharing experiences which are honest
Yeah.
and which are relatable.
Very
I think the other thing that I try to do for on my book also is I've written it almost like a screenplay. Of course with my group of writers,
Right.
but I've written it like a screenplay. So the idea is when you're reading it, you can actually picturize that time.
Yes.
When you go back to Agra, my childhood, you can see what happened to the Taj Mahal at that time.
Right.
How there was a moonlit night, how we used to take out a daris,
Yeah.
how we could take out a achar and paratha. That's
Yes,
all there.
yes, absolutely.
How spooky it was to go into the gates with graves with a kind of candlelight. So the whole mahal
Yeah.
of the time and of the
Yeah.
era is also
Yeah.
what I've tried to recreate.
Yeah.
Through my writing. And
Fantastic.
it was a lovely experience, and I just wanted to share it with people of today's generation
Yeah.
who may not have been around that time and may not be able to appreciate the
Right.
kind of good times that we had.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's a walk through, a period which they have never experienced. And the way you've written it, Doctor, we really feel that, we're experiencing it with you.
I'm so glad, because the best compliment for a writer is when you can take the people who read
Yes.
for a walk together.
Absolutely.
So if you can walk along with me and talk along with me while you're reading my book, there can't be a better compliment.
Well, Well, doctor, yours is a functional guide, not only for medical practitioners. I feel it's a functional guide for each and every entrepreneur. Who whether it's a known entrepreneur who's been in the business for many years, or it's an upcoming entrepreneur who's just starting out. So.
I mean, I would go one step further. Entrepreneur,
Right.
yes.
Yes.
I mean, it is kind of an entrepreneur's honest manual,
Right.
if I may use that word.
Yes.
Because a lot of them are theoretical and they're not practical and they're not from life's experiences. But more than that, I think it's also a book on life hacks.
Right.
Today everything is, you talk about social media and you say 5 top hacks,
Right.
3 top hacks, 3 ways to live life. I think the book is all about that. It's just not it's not about business alone.
Right.
It's also about living.
Okay.
And it's about the values of one should live
Right.
and how life should be lived and the experiences that one learns through life and how to overcome them. The kind of failures, I've spoken about my failures in my book.
Yes.
Very few people talk about failures.
Yes.
They only talk about success. So it's also like, what is behind the veil?
Yeah.
What's the true part of the story? What you see today may be something out there, but you miss the hard work that went behind that for over 45 years to make that happen.
Absolutely.
I mean, you miss the changing of 3 buses to go into a Dharavi for years to practice over there, to help poor people. I mean, you miss out
Yeah.
all of that part of life.
Right.
And I think the idea is to say that, everything in life is, you got to work hard for it.
Absolutely.
As they say, it's 99% perspiration and 1% inspiration.
Well said.
So inspiration is there, but you have to perspire a lot. And unless you put your money where your mouth is, and you actually are able to back whatever your dreams
Right.
yourself.
Right.
Now, we are in the age of venture capitalists.
Right.
You get funded for everything. During my time, I had to borrow money at 63% per annum to start my first clinic.
Absolutely.
So, and then I had to pay for it for the next 10 years. So, it was a different era altogether,
Yes.
And I just wanted people to know that every era has its own challenge. But if you are, कदम चूम लेती है मंजिल आकर, कदम चूम लेती है मंजिल आकर, अगर राही खुद अपनी हिम्मत ना हारे.
क्या बात.
So as they say, लगे रहो मुन्ना भाई.
जी.
You have to keep trying. Perseverance is the key to success.
Yes.
I believe a lot of young people give up too early today. So they keep changing tracks. They say, oh, I tried for 6 months, it didn't work. Now let me try something else.
Yes. Yes.
I'm saying that's not really what life should be about.
Right.
If you believe in something, you must go all out and you must be passionate about it. And you must, keep struggling till you get there.
Absolutely, doctor. Very well said. The way you've written about your failures and then even the risks that you've taken, the challenges that you've taken in your life, I completely salute you, doctor.
Thank you.
Oh, brilliant. Well, that brings me to ask you that, you seem to, whenever you interact with well-known personalities, you always have great learnings from them. So, if you would like to share with us, what is one of the topmost learning or 3 most learning that you've learned?
So, one thing that I learned from Harvard when I went at age 60, when I did a course on medical excellence, was that you have to build an organization of learning. Organizations which are based on learning are continually improving. So any organization which is in a state of continual improvement actually grows and then keeps evolving and keeps getting bigger and bigger. I believe it's the same for human beings. We all have to continually improve, and we can only improve through learning. If you thought that you knew everything, then things would never get better. If I thought I knew everything, I would never improve. So I've always been in a phase of continual learning, and I learn from everybody. It's not just from celebrities. I've been blessed to have celebrities and top industrialists and heads of states and all that coming to me.
And not only that, you treated so many of them,
So I'm happy to interact with them and learn from them.
Yes.
But I learn from everybody else. In my organization, I learn from my dispensers. I learn from them what people want. I learn from them what patients like. I learn from the ground upwards. I keep my ear to the ground. So if you are learning all the time, that's how you keep improving yourself. So it's very important that you start learning. And I can say that one of the lessons that I learned, from example, from Manoj Kumar, when he used to come to see me, was, he said, why are you afraid to ask? He said, ask. He said, without asking, you don't get anything.
Yes.
He said, ask. At the most, the person will say no.
Yes.
It's okay.
Yes.
No, nothing lost.
Absolutely.
What did you lose? You just lost an ask.
Yes.
So I'm still a little hesitant to do that, even after so many years.
Right.
But that was one lesson that I learned.
Yes.
So also then some other patients told me, why are you thinking about one clinic? Why don't you think about being something big? You know, they say they aim to low, aim below the sky. So why don't you start dreaming big? Why don't you think that you could have multiple clinics, you could, you know, kind of standardize it, you could train, you could multiply. So I started then dreaming that and started, you know, getting that idea and started growing. I think what comes across almost everybody whom I've met with like this at the top, I think everything happens with passion.
True.
I'm saying irrespective, whichever profession they are in, they're very passionate about their work and they work very hard to get where they are today. So I think if you work hard and you're passionate, I think you will get there. And that's kind of the lesson that I've learned. And I think the second part also, another part also is that, you know, I've learned that organizations and people who are value based, they live a longer period of time in terms of, you know, so those organizations which have strong culture and people who are value based, they withstand the test of time. While people who are not value based, they collapse. So they are opportunists. So today you have an hour, you do well. But when things are not good, you then collapse because you don't have the strength to withhold all that. So I think it's also very important that one should also be, I mean, what I've learned, one of the lessons is that if you're value based and if your organization is value based, you can stand the test of time and you can then actually grow over a period of time.
Thank you, Doctor. I mean, that was absolutely brilliant, and I mean, it is so inspiring, you know, the learnings that you have learned. I think, wonderful, Doctor, wonderful. So, Doctor, this brings me to ask you that homeopathy, okay, is a subject. There was a time where a lot of people used to not believe in it, you know, and of course now loads of people, I mean, have started believing. Especially I see, you know, young mothers. They are really, they want to like take the safest option. So, you know, they always feel that homeopathy is a great way of curing, you know, their children from their ailments and all. So, Doctor, what do you see the future of homeopathy as, you know, in the upcoming years, you know?
Superb.
Yeah.
Next time we have this conversation, it will be on the moon.
Yeah.
And we'll be talking again to a homeopath, you know, right up a space shuttle, headed for the moon. So our next interview will not be in this office. It'll be
in the moon.
No, it'll be on a space shuttle going up to the moon, and then we land there. And we'll come back with a moon rock, which will have a homeopathic pill in it. You know, so that's what I think is going to happen. However, it's going to be here forever. In spite of all, it's been hardly 250 years old, but it's a system of medicine which has withstood the test of time. It has grown. It's one of the youngest systems of medicine in the world. According to WHO, World Health Organization, it is the fastest growing system of medicine in the world. The second fastest growing system in the world today. Sorry, the second largest system of medicine and the fastest growing. So it's growing 25% back to back versus pharma, which is growing 10%. Okay, and it's already the second largest system of medicine in the world. So it's actually grown so much. You know, like 10 crore people in India use homeopathy regularly for all the ailments. So it's not just the mothers, not because it's safe, of course. People prefer it. I mean, do you know that every day the number of people who die from an ADR or an adverse drug reaction, as it's called, in America alone is about 300 people a day, which is the equivalent of a plane crash. So can you imagine if a Boeing crashed, it will make international headline. When 300 people die every day of a drug reaction, nobody talks about it. Nobody talks about it. So, but I think people are now getting more aware. I think social media is very powerful, and it is kind of the fifth estate. You know, like we have 4 estates. You know, I think now this is the 5th estate. It has a lot of opinion makers, and today you can't hide anything. So it comes up in the open. So today I think people are more aware of the side effects of medicines. They are more aware of moving into a safe system of medicine. They are more aware of holistic medicine, mind and body wellness. They are moving now from sickness to wellness, which is also a very strong change in direction, because earlier you only take medicine when you are sick. Now you need to take medicine when you are well, so that you can continue being well. And I think the best learning that we learned is from COVID times. We've actually made sure that people who are fit and stronger and had great immunity were people who survived, and those who had morbidities are people who actually then, you know, passed away. So I think there are lots of lessons to learn from life, and you know, I think we are just happy to be around. let's just say that. So
it's amazing to hear these pearls of wisdom from you, Doctor, and that too firsthand. Thank you very much once again. Well, this brings me to ask you a bit of a personal question, if I may.
Sorry.
Dr. Akshay Batra, that's your son,
Yeah.
he is into trichology.
Yeah, trichology, yeah.
And of course, you and your father were homeopaths, and you all had, shared a fairly good amount of
Love and friction.
fiction. So, do you share the same with your son, doctor, or it's completely different?
No, it's completely different. I think for one is once you've experienced something, you're a little more careful.
Right.
And you want to make sure that you give more time so that such things don't happen.
Right.
Akshay and I have a fabulous bonding, and so I have with my younger son Pranav as well.
Right.
He actually works very hard for the company. He's also a homeopath,
Right.
and obviously he, is now the third generation homeopath and the fourth generation doctor in the family
Wow.
to take this legacy
Yeah.
ahead.
Yes.
But having said that, I made sure that I have never sat in the same clinic as Akshay, and he's had his own role to play.
Okay.
And that's, I think, what is very important. So
Right.
with my dad, we were in the same place, in the sense, sharing the same clinic. But here, the moment my son passed out, I set up the Bangalore clinic for him because I couldn't afford a place in Mumbai at that time. It was very expensive.
Right.
And so I thought Bangalore would be better. And then I practiced there and I kind of built up the whole practice. I said he would take it over.
Mm.
My learning from that is, and I've done this from a lot of doctors, two lessons I've had.
Right.
Number one is, you cannot pass over medicine in legacy. Okay, because no matter how good you are, but the patients will always say the father was better, the son is no good, not as good.
Okay.
It's hardly ever that's the other way around.
Right. Right.
And then when you pass away, like I've seen so many leading doctors, there's nobody else to take their practice. It goes away. So which is why it's great to corporatize a company so that it can outlive you. So coming back to Akshay's thing, is he's very independent. He does his own work. He's manages the company. He's vice chairman and MD of the company. He's doing a great job. And plus, he's qualified, super qualified, being the president of the Trichology Society of UK, the first Asian to do that.
Right.
And he brings back a lot of learning and training for our doctors on hair care and trichology.
Right.
So he's independent on his own, and therefore he has his own space under the sun.
Right.
And he's not part of a banyan tree where he's just sitting down under the shade. He's doing his own thing. He's working hard to get there.
Right.
And when he passed it also, I made sure. I said, this is your office, but you're not going to sit here. You're going to go to the clinic. So for 10 years, he actually worked at the grassroots level, in the clinic, did everything as that was done. So now he knows the ropes.
Yes, yes. I think that's most required.
thanks.
Yeah. I can say that the Dr. Akshay is following Dr. Batra's footsteps, having
certainly. I mean, even
such a legend as a dad.
even beating it, I would say.
Oh,
Even going ahead, why not? Yeah.
Superb, doctor. That's great.
And that makes me very proud. So when your children do better than you,
Yes.
you really feel very proud.
Absolutely.
I'm saying so what happens is that when you are, then people say, oh, you're Dr. Batra.
Yeah.
Then at some stage of your life they say you're so and so son.
Yeah.
Then they say you're so and so husband, you're so and so's wife.
Yeah.
But when they start telling you that you're the father of this one, then that's something rare. You can put your collar up. And when somebody tells you that you're the grandfather of
Even
him, and then the collar goes even up. So I think that's really how proud you are when your children do better than you.
yeah, I have had the opportunity of seeing you with your grandson and the wonderful bond that you all share and in all that you do. So this brings me to ask you, of course, music. You are literally living all your passions, right from music to photography. And that too, you do it in such a way that everything of yours, it's always it all comes to giving back to society. So the wonderful show that you do every year, the singing show that you do, Ki Barat, and the Positive Health Awards that you do, and also with photography you also have we have collaborated, and we've got Don Bosco Shutter Kids and that's such an amazing way to do anything, to live your passion. So what is the next passion that you are going to live in this particular manner, doctor? Please do share with us.
So let me first take the first part of your question.
Okay.
So the first part of your question was, and I've got 2 or 3 thoughts on that.
Please.
The first thought is that as doctors, we see so much of pain and suffering that over a period of time we become insensitive. I walked and complained that I had no shoes till I came across a man who had no feet. You know, and that's when we realize that somebody else's need is bigger than us. You know, but we see so much of pain and suffering. Somebody has got a cold and we say, oh, so bad. Somebody's got an asthma, we say, oh, this guy is worse than the cold guy. Then somebody's got cancer, is worse. Somebody's got organ failure, is much worse than the cancer person. So it just goes on and on, you know. So one of the things that you have to do is you have to keep your sensitivity alive. And what can you do better than fine arts? So if you paint, do photography, do anything else, singing, whatever you like, music, whatever you're passionate about, gardening, okay, it'll make you evolved. It'll make you, you know, it'll give you a reason to believe, a reason to live, you know, and outside your profession. So it's very important that we do that, you know, number one, because it's made me a better doctor. A photographer has made me more perceptive because other than seeing, I can actually perceive. I can see behind the face, I can see behind the body, I can see with the heart, and I can see with the soul, you know, which I could not see if I was doing photography and I used to do, somebody told me I would do faces, and I did a lot of human faces. I stopped doing it because I found very few happy people in the world. I find every face sad as a photographer, and I don't want, I believe that nobody wants sadness in their drawing room. So you're not, and I do it for charity, so nobody's going to buy a photograph which is sad, you know, even though it's a very good picture, but and want to buy it for the house. So I'm not able to collect enough money then for that cause. So I only shoot outdoors, happy pictures, you know, try to spread happiness around. That's one part. The second part, I believe, is that all of us have a talent. And what I'm trying to tell people is that at any age you can do it. I mean, I started photography when I was 55, I started singing when I was close to 58, 55, you know, 60. And I've been having public shows, I've had 51 photographic exhibitions. So I think you can keep evolving, provided you are passionate about something. And we all have a passion. So if you're a writer, you could write for charity. If you're a designer, you could do some brochures for NGOs, free of charge. So I think all of us could use the talent that we have for the betterment of society. So two things I'm saying. One is we all have a talent which we are not using. Second thing is, if you use it for the betterment of society and for people and community around you, you will benefit because it's going to make you happy. You're going to be part of a happier world, you know. So again, I say this little poem which my mother used to tell me. Life is an echo, all comes back. Life is an echo, all comes back. The good, the false, the true. So give the world the best you have, and the best will come back to you. And I know that you do this as well. So this is why I'm sharing this with you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. So coming back to my next passion now. I mean, every few years I try to reinvent myself. And now my next passion is writing.
Yes.
And I've already signed 4 or 5 books. Even before this, I'm now writing my next book already. I've signed with another publisher from UK and also from India, and some other Indian publishers as well. So I hope in the next 2 years I should take out another 3-4 books.
Oh, lovely.
And of course one of them will be on homeopathy. It's called the Handbook of Homeopathy. It's going to be out January 2023. And Bloomsbury is going to publish it. I've signed a contract with them. I've already written more than half the book already. So I mean, as they say, you know, no rest for the wicked. You know, you got to just keep on working all the time. So you finish one, then you're on to the next.
Right. Doctor, when we started our conversation, you said that, you know, a couple of your chapters were cut out. And so if I may ask, you know, would you like to share something about what you had, you know, put in those chapters?
No, so a lot of it was my life.
Right.
You know, one of them was about a relationship I had which got cut out. I mean, for some reason they didn't want it. And I had written one chapter on my grandson and the fun times that I've had with him, the holidays I've taken. It was very well written. Another one was with my son Akshay and how he's doomed to take over the company and how he's now, you know, taken leadership position and how that happened, you know. Then one was about my flying years, you know, all my flying experiences, the interesting experiences I had, the kind of people I met on flight. Incidentally, Sunil Gavaskar was one of them, and then I befriended him, and then he came home and we sang together. So, you know, so I've made a lot of friends while flying, and so I had written one chapter on that. One chapter was also about my religious gurus whom I had met and who had blessed me around, you know, different phases of my life. So all of that was cut out or whatever, but still I think the book reads well, and you actually, I mean, you don't get a sense that something is missing.
No, not at all, not
Yeah.
at all. But I'm sure, Doctor, one of the books that you'll write in, I'm sure you'll include these wonderful chapters, and we shall see. Maybe on your next milestone birthday, we shall see the continuation of it.
As they say today,
Yeah.
whatever I'm saying, author
Yeah.
2.0. So when you do author 2.0, then maybe you get something else as well.
Well, Doctor, this brings me to ask you that first I really need to share with everyone that the way you like cream center, chole bhature, that's absolutely my favorite too. Though I've not had it for the longest time, I'll be very honest. But I used to love, I used to just love seeing the bhatura. When they used to get it, that whole huge round puri, I used to just enjoy watching it, And I still have really fond memories of going to cream center. And I used to always tell, my husband and Vivek and all, we used to, when the kids were growing up, they used to love going to New Yorkers, which is like just right next door. And every Sunday when we tried to go out there, it used to be next to impossible, because you felt out there as if they were giving food free, of course, because the crowd you could see out there. So, what has your experience been with Cream Center?
Yeah, it was lovely there. The family's been a patient of mine much later, but I spent my 18th birthday over there.
Oh, how sweet!
And honestly, that was the only thing I could afford at that time. Which was also really, very wonderful. And I just took a few of my family members there.
Right.
And of course, my parents paid for it, so I had no money at that time to talk about. And so I enjoyed it very much. But I think that's the first and the last time, not maybe the first time, it's the last time I've been there.
Yeah.
So I haven't been there for 52 years. And one day we'll go together again.
Yes,
and
Doctor.
then have this Chola Bhatura again. Now I think also I'm a little bit, I'm a little more health conscious. I think at my age, a little more fitness conscious. And I don't like to eat too much outside food, and I don't like to eat too much oily food. I'm saying the bhaturas are, I mean, they are a mountain of oil actually.
Yes,
when you see them fluffed up, they're like that, and even the chola has a lot of oil. But of course, it's
absolutely made of white flour, maida.
So it's not a healthy.
Yeah. So, Doctor, thank you for giving us this wonderful book that you have given us. When are we going to see a web series out of it? Because I clearly remember how people used to say that one fine day Dr. Mukesh Batra is definitely going to be a Hollywood actor.
Oh my God! If wishes were horses, then beggars would ride. So certainly, I'll be very happy with that. But I think I'm well past my prime to do that. But let me just mention that I've actually shot a film on homeopathy in Dean Martin Studio in Hollywood.
Yes.
So I mentioned that in my book as well.
Yes, that's right.
And I do hope that one day my biography will kind of be converted into a film as well, or at least into a biopic, or at least for a for a network channel.
Yes.
So and the only idea over there is that maybe it can inspire more people, and and there of course we can add a little masala to it, and
yes, the typical Bollywood spice and masala.
We can have a few songs and dances, and we can chase around trees, and it'll be fun. So,
and it will be much more than just chasing around trees, I'm sure. Well, Doctor, coming to, of course, this wonderful book is really it got me addicted to it, as I said.
Thank you.
So when is the next book coming out soon, and what is it going to be on, if I may ask?
So now I have a few books coming out on homeopathy.
Right.
One of them is called A Handbook of Homeopathy.
Right.
It's going to be published by Bloomsbury. I've already signed the contract. I've kind of finished half the book already.
Right.
I hope to take it out by January 2023.
Right.
That's the scheduled date, but I think we'll do it before that.
Right.
My other book, which is also almost done now, it's in the editing stage,
Right.
and I hope that in 6 months' time, maybe that should also come out, is a book on emotional wellness and homeopathy.
Oh, lovely.
And I think that's the need of the hour, because lots of people today are anxious, depressed.
Yes.
Post-COVID, as part of long COVID, there are people who kind of really been shaken up emotionally. And I hope that this book will, put a little bit of sunshine, at least a few rays of sunshine into their lives, and help them how to deal and cope with it.
Right.
So that's my other book. And then I have a series of books coming out on different aspects of homeopathy. I also have a rerun, a kind of a new book coming out on homeopathy, which is how homeopathy can be used during different phases of your life. So right from childhood to old age, and for women and children and working men, how homeopathy can help for different disorders. So that's also coming up in the pipeline.
Right.
So I think I have my hands full, and I think every night as they say, probably the only soup I have is an alphabet soup. The only thing I can think of is just just words and sentences, and those are the only dreams I get these days. But I'm enjoying myself very much. I like to reinvent myself, and I'm very passionate about what I do. And I just believe that if time is running out, I think I should use it really to reach out to as many people I can and to help as many people I can in as short as the time I can. So I think I'm a little more time conscious now than even ever before, and I want to pack in a lot in my life, whatever I've not done, and what can I do to reach out to many more people, because words live after you. Once the written word stays, the oral word disappears.
Yes.
So I would like to kind of pen it down and kind of mark it in stone. So that it just remains there and more people can benefit from it.
Definitely you're going to do it, doctor. We know that you're going to do it. Today I'd really like to share this small incident of my life. The two favorite medicines of mine of homeopathy, I have to tell you about it, why also, is aloe and podo.
Oh my God, that says it all. That says it all. I'm not going to say that on camera.
But it has been such a savior, especially when we were traveling, doctor. If nothing is available, these two medicines are there. So in our traveling kit.
So they're literally your traveling companions.
Literally, without, especially when the kids were small, doctor. Because normally when we go out, ate outside, especially on holiday, and sometimes things would not, agree with them. This was one savior, which was always there.
I'm so happy that you have a very positive experience.
Yes.
And that you remember it so fondly.
Absolutely. I did a lot more, I remember my father-in-law, my husband's dad, Vivek's dad, he used to believe a lot in
Yes, he used to come to us for a long time.
Yes, absolutely. So all our children have been treated by him, when they were
God.
small, So we used to, how we mothers were very anxious.
That's what you call homebred competition.
No, not competition, doctor. He used to always come to you.
I'm starting a spectacle shops near there. I'm starting that. That's my next. You ask me what's my next project? That's my next project. Okay.
No, we used to always come to you, doctor.
Mr. Mendonsa,
and then we used to get the medicines. So we used to get them. Well, I said it in the beginning. So, I have to be extremely careful what I ask, doctor. And yes, I've got myself into trouble again. Well, so
wonderful to know that you had some very happy experiences of homeopathy.
Absolutely.
I know that this helps so many people. And like I was saying earlier, why did I turn vegetarian? So one of the things was, like I said, homeopathy is human medicine. It's kind of easy to take. It's non-invasive. There are no pain. It's painless. But so is also the way of life. So today my life is also painless in the sense that I don't want to kill for meat. I don't want to kill to eat somebody. So for me, vegetarianism is living my passion, and it's living with compassion. I think if I was to put the two things together, passion with compassion is the best kind of life that anybody can live. And I strongly believe in that. And I'm actually living that life.
Super, doctor, super. I think this has by far been one of my most amazing talks that I've had, the most amazing tete-a-tete I have ever had. Totally honored, doctor, and what
Thank
wonderful sharings. I'm sure.
I'm going to sing 2 lines for you.
Please,
and for your people. So this is my wish for the world, the one that I sing for my grandson. चल के तुझे मैं लेके चलूं एक ऐसे गगन के तले जहाँ गम भी न हो आंसू भी न हो बस प्यार ही प्यार पले एक ऐसे गगन के तले एक ऐसे गगन के तले एक ऐसे गगन के तले wish for a happy world for everybody.
Thank you, thank
Thank
you,
you.
thank you.
Thank
My
you for your
God.
time and thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you.
It's really been an amazing time that we've had, a wonderful time, and so much of learning and so much of sharing, and the wonderful pearls of wisdom, just like you have the wonderful, here I'm going to say,
Yes.
the homeopathic white pills, but doctors,
And
pearls
don't forget
of
to read,
wisdom.
and don't forget to read the book. It's going to teach you a lot.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
So this book is a must for all, and today we are running a competition too.
Oh my.
So if you all want to participate and win this book, you need to answer correctly. And the question which I'm going to ask is, if you've heard our talk correctly, what is Dr. Mukesh Batra's son's name and what does he do? If you heard my entire talk show which I had with the wonderful Padma Shri Dr. Mukesh Batra ji, you will know what it is. And whoever writes and types in the comment box first will get this from Tete at Suvees Power Meet. So let's see who wins it, Doctor, right? And it will be signed and autographed by Doctor himself. So there you go. Well, this is me, Dr. Suhani Mendonsa, with our great Padma Shri, Dr. Mukesh Batra, signing off. See you in our next episode very soon. Please stay safe, take care of yourself, and lots of love. Bye-bye. God bless.